concept that we're bringing to you is disruptive on two fronts. The way people are absorbing nutrition has been in the dark ages forever. Pills, potions, lotions. And last December, home-based businesses replaced traditional businesses as the fastest growing business structure in America. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later too. But I have two amazing guests that are going to come and share their testimonials with you tonight, bringing the passion and the business side. And my first guest is Mr. Ron Williford from Philadelphia. And I want to bring Ron up right here. Ron is a financial planner. Let me bring him up.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ron. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, your testimonial about the products is so amazing. I mean, the first time I heard it, I was just blown away. Can you share a little bit about that product and what it's done for you?
Yeah, sure. I would say probably for the past 3 years, since probably 2017, I was suffering with some hip issues. I had severe arthritis in my hips. So I eventually had to go to the point where I had to get hip replacement surgery. So in December of 2019, I had my first hip replacement on my right hip. And instead of using any type of narcotic or any type of painkiller, I'd already been using CBD. And it was kind of helping me to relieve some of that strain. While rehabbing my hip, around March, I think Innovative became into existence. I was introduced to the patch. So I started wearing the patch during that recovery. About a year ago in August of 2020, I decided to have the second hip replacement. And once again, I decided that I don't want to use any narcotics or anything for the pain relief. So I had my surgery on August 1st. The only time I've ever taken any narcotics was when I was in the hospital. I was given a painkiller. So I got home. The next day, I just started using the CBD patch for the pain relief. I started with 2 patches, and then I was taking 1 Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol, each night. Over the course of the past year, in order for me to manage the pain and some of the tightness in my hip, I've just been using CBD patches, using them every day. I started using them, and I decided that by telling my story, I also got other people interested in taking a look at this as a business as well. So the CBD has been a real blessing for me in my attempt to manage my pain. And I've gone to the doctors, and they really couldn't believe how quickly I've been able to recover. My first month appointment, I wound up, the doctor said, "What are you doing to alleviate the pain? What are you doing to make such progress?" And I just simply showed him the patch and said, "I use this patch." Also, going back a few years ago, I was taking medication for high blood pressure and also for high cholesterol. My doctor actually recommended I take all these vitamins. So when I got the patches, I saw the CBD patch, I saw some of the other patches. So I started taking the vitamin patch. And when I looked at the patch, all the ingredients and all the vitamins that he had in supplements that he recommended were in this one little patch. I forget the name of the first patch, and I started using that as well. And every patch was there twice the supplements that I really needed to take. So eventually, when I kept going back for my checkups for the hip, the doctor was still amazed at how all of a sudden I'm no longer taking any medication. I'm no longer in pain, and it's just been a blessing and a lifesaver for me. And that's my story. You know, the CBD patch, it really does work. And if you want to find out if it works, go without it a couple days, and you will definitely feel the difference. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, Ron, that is amazing. You know, most people would think about a double hip replacement as a very, very serious surgery, right? The fact that you were able to get through it and manage it all with mostly our patches, and the doctor's looking at this thinking, wow, look at how well he's doing. He doesn't need, narcotics. He doesn't need these. And these patches, when they looked at the nutritional level on the patches, what did they say to you?
They said, well, how do these things work? So I pulled out my phone and I hit the video and I showed them. I said, this is how it works. And, the doctors, they use a similar patch in the part of their 30. They've been using these patches for some years now. I think they just haven't told the public about these patches. So with innovative, I mean, it's technology and it's the science that's in these patches that really are having people get a whole lot of relief. Now, the other thing is I have a twin brother who went through the same thing. And so he asked me, how are you managing your pain? So I said, here, try these CBD patches. So he tried them, same result. Neither one of us have really used any painkillers in the past year or so. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And just your testimonial, just your experience with how these have impacted your lives, hasn't it made it so much easier to share this information with people?
Yes, I share it, but it's you share the situation with folks and you let them know the history of the patch and how they really work. It's just getting people to finally realize that, hey, there's something that can help me. I think everyone is so used to traditional, they're going to pop pills and get instant release. But all you got to do is, like you say, peel and stick and roll.
That's right.
That's the way they work.
That's right. And to kind of segue on what you're speaking about there, in 2009, when Uber was launching in an apartment, there is no way in the world you would have found me and my sons in the backseat of a total stranger's car going anywhere, right? But there were people at that time that saw the simplicity, they saw the efficiency, they saw the fun and what it could become, right? It was a disruptive idea in an existing industry, transportation. Right. This is exactly the same thing. We are disrupting an industry that's been in the dark ages forever, swallowing pills, chugging down shakes and lotions. We are perfectly positioned to share what we have, and our timing couldn't be better. We're barely a year and a half old. So let's talk for a minute about, you're a financial planner. Right. You've been doing this for 35 years. When you look at since December, I believe it was Forbes magazine that said home-based businesses have replaced traditional businesses for the first time. When you look at the opportunity and this business model, and you hear that, what does that make you think of? What do you think about that?
Well, I think if you look at business in general, and I'm also a business consultant as well, but if you look at the tax structure of the United States, if you're an employee, you pay your expenses first, and then you walk away with what's called your take-home pay. But as an entrepreneur or someone that's self-employed, I always say solopreneur, because a lot of folks are just single solopreneurs. You make your money first, then you pay your expenses, and then whatever's left is what you pay taxes on. So if you look at the entire federal tax structure, it's always been built for the advantage of someone that's in business.
Absolutely.
What I've seen is you look at the news every day and it says unemployment's up or unemployment's down. But the one thing they don't tell you is that the registration of new businesses has doubled in the past year. There's so many folks that are setting up businesses as either a sole proprietor or they're setting up LLCs. So business registrations have catapulted, and that's where the trend is, where you see there's been more home-based businesses set up in the past year than at any time in the history of this economy.
Yeah,
so it's for real. It's for real.
And would you say it's fair to say that if you, with our particular opportunity, if you were to start with us and our opportunity, you've immediately given yourself a pay raise,
right?
And you've given yourself some tax deductions immediately, right off the top.
Now, I think the great thing with this business is that if you were to set up a business, you got to find a product, you got to find a way to market. We simply have an app, the product's there. With social media, marketing is simply you post a picture of your before and after, or you use Instagram, Facebook, and automatically you're marketing. I'm working and consulting, children that are able to put together a business.
Yeah.
But just because they know, most kids know all this technology, they'll take a t-shirt, design a t-shirt, spend a
Yes.
couple dollars, and boom, they're in business. So it's so easy to get into business. If you're a traditional business, you got to find they always say location, location, and you got to have a product, you got to have all these expenses. But for simply like $49, you got the whole operation. And what I always tell people, you got to turn your cell phone into an ATM,
Mm,
meaning that,
absolutely.
I don't pay for my cell phone because it pays for itself.
Right.
And it's that piece of technology that will help you to make that extra, start out making a couple extra dollars, and then it just grows, and it grows exponentially. So I mean,
Wow.
it's a if you're going to start a business, I think right now, even though we're in a pandemic, because I'm talking to folks and says I'm never going back to work. They've got an idea. That idea is going into fruition all of a sudden, and they're just taking off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why we say the timing couldn't be better for multiple reasons, right? I
Right?
mean,
Yeah.
just the awareness of health in general in the last year, right? People understand you need to take good care of your body. Your body needs optimum nutrition. They know that, a business, a home-based business, everything we've been through in the last year, the advantages of that, like we've just discussed. And man, your testimonial with
Yeah.
how they've impacted you and your health and how they're impacting other people's health, amazing.
And the
Man, Ron,
funny thing, and the
thanks so
funny thing
much.
is, also tell a story. I
Yeah, go ahead.
accidentally bought the collagen patches. I clicked the wrong thing, and they came to me in the mail. So I said, "Oh, what the heck? I ordered them by accident. I might as well start using them." So I put them on, and what I found is, I can't grow much hair on my head anymore, but my facial hair, I'm trimming my goatee like every other day all of a sudden. But I looked down, I had a toe that had fungus like for years. I played sports and I could never get, I didn't know what to do about it. So I looked down and all of a sudden my toe has been clear. Everything is gone. So for those folks out there that have those ingrown toenails and fungus underneath, this stuff works for that as well. And I discovered it by accident.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
doesn't that speak right to if you give your body what it needs, it can do what it does best,
Right.
heal and repair itself. But it needs to get it, right? And that's where we are. That's where we come in with delivering nutrition directly to your body's river of nutrition, directly to the bloodstream, bypassing the gut altogether. I mean, the gut has so many issues, we don't even need to talk about it, right?
No, not
But
at
when you
all.
can bypass that altogether and peel, stick, and go, holy cow, it's a game changer. And that's why we're saying we are the Uber of nutrition. We will be the biggest nutritional company out there, I believe, just with a simple concept of peel, stick, and go. When people realize how simple it is, like they did with Uber, look out, folks. And we're just getting started with this. That's why we're so excited about what we have and sharing these testimonials. So, Ron, thanks so much for coming on the Patch Nation tonight
Oh,
and
you're
sharing your
welcome.
testimony and your expertise. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.